In 3, 2, 1, you're on, Commissioner.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Board meeting for Tuesday, November 24th, 2020. I am John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser and Commissioner Gary Edwards. We also have County Manager Romero Chavez and Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell. Amy Davis, the clerk of the board, is in the room, and Megan Porter, our PIO, is also assisting with the facilitation of this meeting. So I'm calling this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Doing this remotely is always a challenge, but please join me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. And I would entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve agenda for Tuesday, November 24th, 2020.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve today's agenda. Are there any changes or amendments to that? No. Commissioner Edwards, did I hear you second that, didn't I?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda today?
No, sir.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have an agenda. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last two sets of minutes?
Make a motion to approve board meeting minutes from November 10th, 2020 and November 17th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve both board meeting minutes from the 10th and the 17th of November. Any changes, corrections to those minutes?
No,
Nope.
sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. That takes us to presentations. And the first presentation we have is introduction of new public works employees. And we have Scott Lindblom, County Manager. Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you for the opportunity, Commissioner. County Engineer, not County Manager. We'll leave that to the current County Manager, who's doing a fine job. But thank you, though. This is Scott Lindblom, County Engineer with Public Works. I have the distinct honor of being part of a group to introduce 4 new Public Works employees this afternoon. There are 2 within the Office of County Engineer. The first one I will introduce is Ryan Blazer and Elena Fernandez. Then I will pass the baton to Tim Wilson, who will introduce a new employee in the Water Resource Group, who will then pass to Lucy Mills to introduce a new employee in the Road Operations Group. But to start, I'd like to introduce Ryan Blazer. Ryan is a new civil engineer in our program, just started in September. He moved up from the Las Vegas area, probably to escape the heat, and I think he successfully escaped that. Ryan is going to be helping us in our capital projects, focusing a lot on transportation, roads and bridges and trails. He's moved up here with his family just recently now. He's got 2 kids, and his wife moved up. Yeah, his wife's family's from the area. A little factoid about Ryan, a couple one. I learned some interesting things whenever I do these. Ryan can speak Samoan. He flies drones, and he was also a contestant on the Season 3 of the Ellen DeGeneres show, Game of Games, earlier this year. I haven't watched the show, but that might be an interesting conversation I'll have with Ryan later. And then secondly, Elena Fernandez joined our team just about a month ago. Elena came south, Ryan came north, but Elena came south from Alaska. She worked about 8 years as a biologist with the Department of Fish and Game and also with the Department of Transportation and Public Works. She'll put that experience to use as an environmental coordinator with our program, completing environmental documentation and helping permitting for our county projects, including the Fish Passage program. In Elena's spare time, she enjoys horseback riding, quilting, fishing, hiking, and photography. So, and I think the real reason Elena came south is really to get more daylight. Today, she will be getting about 2 hours, 40 minutes more of daylight than she had in Alaska. So she's coming south to the sun belt of the great Northwest.
Sunbelt.
And I will kick it to Tim Wilson.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager with Public Works. It's always difficult to follow Scott, I might say. But I have the pleasure this afternoon of introducing Heidi Steinbach, who I believe is with us. Heidi joined the Noxious Weed and Lakes team in mid-September as a Noxious Weed Specialist 1. Heidi's duties include mapping noxious weed populations, providing technical assistance to property owners, and assisting with the education and outreach program. Although Heidi has only been with Public Works for 2 months, she has already made an impact to our outreach program. Prior to joining Public Works, Heidi worked for the Mason County Noxious Weed Program. And while we have a great working relationship with Mason County, I had no regrets in stealing her away. When Heidi is not working, she enjoys botany, gardening, is an avid mushroom hunter, and also enjoys keeping and raising chickens. Heidi has been an excellent addition to our team, and we're very pleased to have her aboard. And with that, I would pass to Lucy.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Lucy Mills, Road Operations Manager. Today, I'd like to introduce Jocelyn Baker. She's came to us in September of this year. She's working with our drainage crew as a flagger laborer. She is helping to keep our crews and the traveling citizens of Thurston County safe. And I'm going to let Jocelyn talk about herself a little bit.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn. I've worked here for 2 seasons before I got hired on, and I was really excited to get offered a position, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
Wow. Commissioner Edwards, any questions or comments?
Well, I'll just say welcome, because we're keeping it short.
We are? I got stuff. You could go ahead, Commissioner Menser.
I'll just say to Elena that I also came to the Sun Belt of Washington from Fairbanks. So always good to see Alaskans here in Thurston County. And for Ryan, my dad is retired and lives near Las Vegas. So I get a chance to hear on the phone every week all the heat I'm missing and all of the different things that he likes to brag about since I'm up here in the rain. So welcome to you guys, and Heidi and Jocelyn. I hope to get to meet you guys in person as soon as possible. Welcome aboard.
I'd like to say, number one, Ryan, at least our governor doesn't have COVID currently, right? You came from one hotbed into another. Welcome. And Elena, Alaska, the best vacation my family has ever taken, my wife and our 2 kids, was in the mid-90s, 9 days of fishing and camping in Kodiak, on Kodiak Island. It was a freaking blast. Best time ever we had. I hope you brought sunscreen with you or purchased some while you're down here. Heidi, welcome from Mason County. We get more sunshine than Mason County does. This is the capital county. The sun is always shining down here. And you're into mushrooms. And I just read just over the weekend that there's candy cane flavors, and one of them is a mushroom candy cane flavor. And you can get ketchup and clam and chicken, which is just disgusting. But people are making them. Companies are making them. Jocelyn, and you're a flagger, and you're local. Don't have much to say. I don't know much more about you, but welcome. You guys joined a great family, and glad you're here. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You're very welcome. Next is Public Works Outstanding Performance Awards for Temishan and Boston Harbor Wastewater Treatment Plants. And we have Tim Wilson, our Waste Resources Program, Water Resources, not waste, Water Resources. Go ahead, Tim. Introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioners. Tim Wilson, Water Resources Manager with Public Works. We have the opportunity today to recognize the critical role that Thurston County's utility operators play in protecting our water resources from pollution. And I'm also hoping that we have some of our operators here with us. They were hoping to log in, but were responding to a matter out at Grand Mound. So we may or may not have them aboard. As you are aware, the 4 utility operators, along with the utility supervisor and the technical services group that supports them, are tasked with keeping our 3 water treatment plants and 3 wastewater treatment plants operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our operators often respond after hours and on weekends in all types of conditions to keep these plants operating smoothly. Each year, the Department of Ecology presents outstanding performance awards to wastewater utilities that meet permit requirements related to monitoring, reporting, spill prevention, planning, pre-treatment, and operational demands. Typically, less than a third of operating wastewater treatment plants meet the threshold and receive these awards. For 2019, I'm pleased to announce that Thurston County has received outstanding performance awards for the Boston Harbor Wastewater Treatment Plant, Grand Mound Wastewater Treatment Plant, and additionally, Thurston County's Tamashan Wastewater Treatment Plant has received special recognition from the Department of Ecology for receiving this award for the 5th consecutive year. The operators, you are probably aware, but the operators include Vernon Prell, Dennis Baker, Ruben Stringer, and Keith Corner. And the utility operations supervisor is Kevin Patching. Last thing I would say is this team has stepped up even more during the pandemic to make sure that our systems operate smoothly. And this is a very essential work in very tough times. Ecology's deputy director said it best by saying that our wastewater treatment plant operators are local heroes who protect water quality every day. And we at Public Works couldn't agree more. And with that, I would show you our awards and take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Tim. Commissioner Edwards, any questions or comments?
No, sir. Keep up the good work.
Commissioner Ensor.
Tim, did I hear you say that around a third or less than a third or something of the systems are recognized in this way?
That's correct. Typically, a little less than a third statewide are recognized.
Okay, great. That gives me a good sense of it. Congratulations to our team, and I really appreciate that.
You, Tim, and your crew are exceedingly make me proud. Thank you very much. It's something to really be proud of as well, especially when there's just so few that are recognized. Thank you very much. Please pass that on to them.
I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you. That takes us to agenda item number 1 on the agenda, and that's the public comment portion of the meeting. And we ask that you please, if you're in the boardroom, since there's other human beings and employees in the room, please wear your mask when you're addressing the board. And keep it on while you're talking. Introduce yourself, please, and you're including your name, address, and where you live in the county. Address the board and not staff. If you haven't done so, please silence your cell phones. The board does not respond to comments, but on an as-needed basis, the county manager will follow up on specific items. So you're limited to a total of 3 minutes each, and your time cannot be devoted to another person or donated. Amy Davis, our clerk of the board, will maintain the clock in the boardroom, and you'll hear the chime. We may not, but she'll keep, and the county manager will let us know when your time is expired. The board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. Please, no comments that are lewd, offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. We ask you please be respectful. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as a promotion for a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 42.56 of the RCW. Remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal would not be appropriate either. Thank you for your cooperation in this. I will call on the first people will be the ones that are in the board meeting, and then we'll go to Zoom and our conference call. First on the list and in between speakers in the boardroom, I'll call you both up, but in between we're going to be disinfecting the microphone, so please give us a couple seconds to do so. First up is John Pettit, followed by Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live out on Rich Road, Southeast. I'm going to talk my short time here today about the fact that you're going to be being presented several resolutions related to the budget, of which the several resolutions include a substantial need to trying to declare there's a substantial need that you have to increase taxes to the maximum amount, an increase of property tax revenue, and certifying the assessor the total amount of property taxes to be levied. Unfortunately, the fact is you do have to vote today to certify to the assessor a total amount of property taxes to be levied. You have no choice. To date, as far as I've heard, you still don't even have a preliminary budget approved. So I don't know how you actually establish everything when you don't even have the facts. Staff has neglected to supply you with information you should have before. Now, keep in mind, right now, Thurston County is scheduled to end this year with the largest amount of year-end fund balance in the history of Thurston County. And what they're looking to do is they want to say, well, we have a substantial need. We need more property tax. So they want to add on basically an additional $324,000 of additional property tax for the general fund. You know, this is a defining moment. You know, I have to tell you, I was watching a little earlier on YouTube, and I was impressed that Commissioner Menzer brought out the fact that on a comp plan, there's a whole lot of things to consider before you do it. You just don't approve it because somebody throws it in front of you. Well, it's the same way with the budget. Unfortunately, you have been presented documents to approve with no choice. No choice. How could your staff provide you no choice? You just have to approve the choices, or if you don't approve the certified levy, you won't have any property tax revenue for the county this coming year. What you can do is you can send staff back, you can approve the total taxes to be increased, but you can have it approved without the substantial need being listed as a requirement and adjust those numbers. It is flagrant that you should be in this situation. Do what you have to do, but it'll go down in history whether or not you are just approving the highest possible taxes or whether or not you're going to live within our means. Thank you.
Megan Porter, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it.
Megan.
Glad to help.
Go ahead, Terry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry Ballard. I'm a 35-year veteran born here in Washington. My father was a 42-year veteran, and his name will be announced. Okay, I'm glad that the election was certified. I'm really glad. But what I'm not glad about is this person, Carolina, with a middle name of Barahona Mejia, doesn't exist. Her name that she chose to have has a first name of Carolina, no middle name, and Mejia Barahona as her last name, her surname. And this is verified through her certificate of naturalization and her passport, which was suppressed, by the way, even though it was subpoenaed for a validation of onto the ballot. Your county manager said that this oversight was handled in the court. No, it wasn't. And it says that, and I have the transcript for that. It said that it had nothing to do with registration. Mine has all to do with registration. Okay? On 6/16/2011, she was a registered voter. How could she be a registered voter when she wasn't a U.S. citizen? But you know what? I personally believe that the system was manipulated. And you know, by manipulation, that's a Class C felony. Sorry to say. Okay? She was elect on 3/10/2020. Okay? On 3/10/2020, it listed in a database that after that date, it listed it as her registration. It was in 2011, but somehow it got changed to 10/22/2015. I've since downloaded the entire voter database for all of Washington State. It appears my father is still on this voters database, and he died almost 2 years ago. I'm glad to see my mother's not on there, and she died over 10 years ago. Okay? I'm sorry, but Carolina Barahona Mejia does not exist. Does not exist as far as a name because she changed her name when she became a U.S. citizen. And coming from, I believe, Guatemala, he can understand about the conquistadors and the names, the Spanish names, like Saturday Night Live used to say, Rosanna Dana Dana Dana. Okay, because I was in Puerto Rico, assigned there for 2 years, and they all have what we call a dash name for their heritage, and it goes on and on and on. But
Can I hear the timer?
There is no Carolina Barahona, middle name Mejia, exists after she was a naturalized citizen. Thank you.
Romero, is there anybody else in the boardroom?
No, sir. Let me check the conference call.
Check the phone, thank you.
Good afternoon for those who have joined us via conference call this afternoon. If you wish to testify in front of the commissioners, please unmute yourself, state your name, where you reside in the county. You have 3 minutes. Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you, public comment is over. That takes us to agenda item number 2, and that is the county manager's update.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners. In terms of recognition, I'd like to recognize the staff from Community Planning, Economic Development. And once again, FEMA has awarded Thurston County the Class 2 rating within the CRS program. CRS stands for Community Rating System, which means the county residents Class 2 status with the CRS are allowed who live in the special flood hazard areas to receive a 40% reduction in annual flood insurance. In addition to that, all county residents who apply for flood insurance, even those who are not within the flood hazard areas, could receive 10 to 20% rate reduction because of the county Class 2 CRS rating. For context, there are 1,509 jurisdictions across the United States who participate on the CRS program. Out of the 1,509 jurisdictions, only 9 have been awarded rating Class 2 or above. And Thurston County is one of them. I'd just like to send a shout out to CPED staff for the great work and for the service to the citizens to find ways as to how they can mitigate flood insurance in the county. And unless you have any questions, I believe the next item, Robin Campbell would like to announce a couple of items related to the budget. Unfortunately, Mr. Pettit just left, and I was hoping to address that since he made a comment related to the budget and he left. The board has been involved in the budget conversations for the last 3-4 months, if not longer. The issue of special need has been addressed to the board in many occasions. The board has been going through line by line item, exercising your legislative authority to determine and making preliminary decisions related to the 2021 budget. The book, the draft book for the 2021 budget, which Robin is going to touch base here in a minute, is the result of all the 3-4 months conversations that you had as a board and the 3-4 month conversations, decision-making process that you have embarked. So this is not a surprise to you. This is not a staff comment at the last minute. And again, this is a long process, and if Mr. Pettit, and I will tell him that he was here today, he's more than welcome to go back on the record. We have recorded every single board briefing and conversation you had, and that is available in the Thurston County YouTube channel. I'll stop there.
I would, it's a shame they did do a hit and run because I had written down that we've had months of discussion, months of briefing, months of line by line going over the budget, and we've been given choices. So I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing. Commissioners, anybody else want to comment before Robin gets in?
I would just say there's kind of a chicken and egg thing. There was a comment made about, well, how can we fix the tax rate without the final decisions on the budget? And I remember last year I got mad about the exact opposite. How can I make decisions about how much to spend if we haven't decided how, what we're going to do about the revenue? So you can go round and round and around on that. The reality is we work through it as fast. I've questioned Robin at least twice and made her walk me through the timeline so I could feel confident that we were doing things in a logical order on a logical timeline. And with all the different things that come into the process, there's just no better way to do it. I think there's just always going to be that, well, I'd like to know that before I decide that. And I need to know that before I decide that. So I just think that if you really sat down and walked through the process like we have, you and Ramiro's right, we've had God knows how many budget sessions. I don't feel rushed about it. We've gone through meticulously what the different options are in the property tax scenario. So sometimes I do feel rushed as a commissioner, not on this one. We've gone through it. We've had time to think about it. We've had time to ask questions. We've made all of our preliminary budget indications to give us a good sense of what's out there, what the needs are. Yeah, we couldn't pass a resolution of substantial need without hearing from all the departments about what the budget needs are, but we heard that. We spent 2 full weeks doing that. So we have a good sense of everything, and I think that the process is logical.
Commissioner Edwards, anything to answer?
Well, I'm not too concerned about the timeline as much as I am concerned about the substantial need and the definition of the same and what really that entails. It's not very clear in the RCW, and I will agree, Mr. Pettit did say that we had the largest ending fund balance coming up, it looks like, this year that we've ever had. And there were several things that I was not happy with as the budget process went along. Like Commissioner Mentzer said, we've spent a lot of time on it. And so it's not the budget process itself, it's the substantial need from our beginning fund balance this year to the ending fund balance. We cut 2% from the other elected officials, which I disagreed with. So there's other issues involved, and yes, we have had a lot of discussion on that. So I'll just let it go at that until it comes time for the vote. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Robin.
So I just wanted to announce that yesterday we posted the preliminary budget on the board's website, and the notice of public hearing was posted in the Olympian and also online. The public hearing on the budget will be on December 7th and 8th, starting at 1:30 each day and going into the evening. And the budget is available. As I said, it's on our website on the budget page, and also available as a hard copy. If anybody should want a book, they just need to ask for it, and we'll have one for them. And this is all timed in accordance with state law. The law sets the dates of the public hearing. The law sets the dates when we must publish the preliminary budget. That's yesterday, and it was out. And then the law says when we must certify the property taxes, and that's by the end of this month. So the timing is all in accordance with state law.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing any comments from the public about the budget that is proposed.
So moving on with the agenda then. Agenda item number 3 is consent items A and B. And is there a motion?
Move to approve consent items 3A and 3B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve consent items 3A and 3B. Any discussion on either of those two? Nope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Department item, agenda item number 4 is Commissioner's Resolution of Substantial Need above IPD. Robin. These are the next couple of them.
Yep, Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager, and you have 3 resolutions before you today regarding property tax. I would just mention that you held work sessions and conversations specifically about the property tax, the substantial need, and the options regarding the tax on October 20th, October 22nd, and October 27th. So if anyone's interested in hearing your conversations, those were dates where you specifically talked about property tax. The resolution of substantial need is in accordance with state law that requires jurisdictions, taxing jurisdictions, or rather allows, not requires, but allows the legislative body to increase the property tax by 1% or the IPD, the implicit price deflator, whichever is less. This year, the IPD is 0.602%. The difference would be revenue to the county of approximately $164,000 in the general fund and smaller amounts in each of the other 3 funds that's funded by property taxes. As you're aware, by your many budget work sessions, offices and departments submitted requests for budgets that were above what you were able to fund and maintain a adequate, sustainable fund balance. The law does not clearly describe substantial need. That's absolutely true. They have left it to each local jurisdiction to determine what substantial need is for them. And the guidance that we have from the MRSC is to set it at an amount that is sufficient to cover operating costs and a sustainable fund balance. So in using that definition, I believe that we meet the criteria of substantial need, and that allows the board to increase the levy by 1%. So I am recommending to you to adopt a resolution of substantial need.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Robin, if we chose not to adopt a budget of substantial needs, could we still adopt a budget based on that 0.6%?
Yes, Commissioner, one of your options is to raise the property tax limit by any amount up to 0.602%.
Okay, thank you.
Without the resolution of substantial need. That is one of the options that you reviewed.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve a resolution finding a substantial need for revenue exists in each of the 4 Thurston County property tax levy districts and sets the limit factor for the property tax increase at 101% in the Thurston County current expense levy, the road district levy, the Medic 1 levy, and the Conservation Futures levy for 2020 tax levies to be collected in 2021.
I'll second that. This was moved and seconded to approve the substantial need above the IPD. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I do want to refer back to the fact that we do have the highest ending fund balance coming up. We started with a very high funding balance going into this year. I think we made a mistake on the budget process mid-year. I voted accordingly against that, and I want to stay consistent, and that's why I am opposed to the substantial need portion of this motion. Thank you.
Commissioner Menser, any comments?
Yeah, well, I would say a few things. One is to point out this kind of complicated the way this levy works, but the tax, whether we do this or not, the tax rates for individual property owners will be reduced because evaluations increased. Our budget staff is recommending it, and it's been historically an almost automatic thing because the county has very limited tools to manage about 3 to 5% of operating cost increase per year. The cities, for example, have done this already this year. I don't know what all goes into the implicit price deflator, but it's certainly not our labor costs or our healthcare premiums or any of the things that drive the cost of county government. So it's really not all that relevant to analysis of what our expenses are. The issue about the high fund balance, I just want to point out that we received 15.7 million, and there were that was one major chunk. There were a couple other little chunks, but I'm just going to focus on that. We spent well in excess of $15 million responding to a pandemic in 2020 that has shown no sign of abating, but yet there's no prospect of additional revenue coming to support our continued response to the community. So part of the reason our fund balance was high was because of how that money came into the county and went out. It's not an accurate reflection to just think that the county somehow got this, crazy windfall. There was a little bit of elements here and there, but the reality is we're still shifting $3 million out of our road fund, which is not, and we're not maintaining, we get criticized for not maintaining the courthouse complex. We're not doing adequate maintenance on our road system, and yet we're shifting money out of there to meet basic needs. And so between that and the pandemic response, I think that this is, to me, a very easy decision. We're still grappling with all the same things we would in a normal year, but we have some very unusual circumstances, and we really just don't know what the 2021 is going to bring with respect to pandemic response. I say that to mean we know it's going to be substantial. We just don't know how substantial. So this is a very modest thing. Like I say, tax rates will fall because that is the way the system is designed. It does not allow us, the 1% increase is not to a particular property owner's tax rate. It's to the overall quantity of tax revenue the county can collect. And valuations have gone up in 2020. And that's good for property owners. That's more equity in their property, more value to their bottom line and development of assets. So I'm supporting this for all of those reasons.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
May I respond?
Sure.
I guess I'd just like to point out that we are in the middle of a pandemic, and it's hitting some people harder than others. We've got the highest sales tax revenue that we've ever had, and I really don't think that government ever has quite enough as government moves forward with requests to do a better job for the public. And I like to think that's what we're trying to do. But I don't work for the government. I work for the citizens, and I think there are citizens out there struggling. And so that's why I want to stick with 0.6%. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want to stay consistent with what my past votes have been. So I respect others and their positions as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. If I put quotations around what Commissioner Mentor said, I just say, yeah, me too. I'm focused on the pieces, though, that the tax rate will decrease, although it sounds so odd, but it does. The current needs of still PHSS being in the middle of this dadgum virus, we don't know when it's going to be completed. I see what the coroner's needs are in his department. Office of Public Defense has sufficient needs. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office has significant needs. And so we need to keep our head above water. Yes, I don't know if it's true. It's the highest sales tax we've ever had. I don't know, but it's a lot more than we predicted, which is I'm grateful for. And it's the highest fund balance, and I'm grateful for that too. But that doesn't mean the war's over. And our costs are still going up. They're not maintaining the same, and they're not decreasing. They're going up. So for that reason, I'm supportive of this motion. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Yeah, the motion carries. Thank you. 4B is a resolution for the property tax levy increase.
Thank you, Commissioner. So this next resolution is to set the levy. And if you read the resolution, you wonder why it is something less than 1%. It's a little bit confusing. But what the law requires we do, and the guidance that we've received from the Washington State Department of Revenue, is that the calculation is last year's highest lawful levy times 101%. And then you subtract last year's actual levy, which includes refunds and new construction, and you get a small amount for this particular calculation, roughly $324,000 for the general fund. And then you divide that number by this year's highest lawful levy to get the percent of increase. So the percent of increase on the resolution is 0.7869% rather than 1% for the general fund. It's just a matter of calculation, and I wanted to explain that for anyone who reads the resolution. And I'd be happy to spend time with anyone who'd like to learn more. But this resolution actually sets the levy. I would also mention for both this resolution and the next one that the assessor continues to refine the tax valuation, the property valuation throughout the county. So this number could change even after you adopt the resolution, but it will be less, not more. The maximum amount that we can levy is the amount that's in your preliminary budget. And I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's pretty complicated, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Let's do the motion, and then we can, after a second, then we can get into discussions. We don't just keep repeating ourselves. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the resolution authorizing an increase in property tax revenue in both dollars and percentage for the current expense, road, conservation futures, and Medic One funds, which includes a 1% increase as authorized by RCW 8455010.
Second.
For the purposes of discussion, I will second this.
Oh, okay. And so it's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution for property tax levy increase. Now discussion. And Gary, you wanted to go?
Robin, I'm kind of curious, as we move forward, I want government to continue, and I want it to function, and I want us to legally be able to collect what we should collect, although I might not agree with the dollar amount exactly. So should I vote for this, this will be to move the process forward, even though I was not successful on my interpretation of what it ought to be. Is that right?
So this would actually set the levy. If you were to vote yes today, you would be voting yes to setting the levy.
As the majority of this board set today,
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, as I was directed by the majority of the board.
Okay. Good enough, thank you.
Mr. Minister, anything?
Nope.
No, for me either. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries unanimously. And then for ABC, 4C.
The next item is to, now that you have set the levy, we need to certify it to the assessor. So this third resolution actually sets the dollar amount. If you look at the levy, you see it sets the precise amount that the assessor will then slightly refine between now and January and certified to the treasurer that will be billed out. The levy includes refunds, and it also includes new construction. And then the other thing that this resolution does is authorizes a road levy shift, which moves money in the base levy from the road fund to the general fund in the amount of $2,750,000, and a road diversion. And that happens, we receive the levy money, and instead of depositing it to the general, to the road fund, it goes to the general fund. So a road diversion of $1,500,000. So in total, you are shifting not quite $4 million, well, over $4 million out of the road fund to the general fund when you adopt this resolution.
Okay. Any questions of Robin on this one?
Maybe a clarification, commissioners.
Yes, sir.
In following up of what Robin stated in terms of the road levy shift and the road diversion, this reflects an attempt by the board to reduce the road levy shift from the previous year. And that has been a decision the board made early in the year to reduce the road levy shed by $250,000 in 2021 and an additional $250,000 for right now in 2022. So I just want to make sure that this really reflects the board's direction to start addressing or minimizing the road levy shift as has been in the past year.
Which is a very good strategic move. Go ahead,
Right.
Rob.
The levy shift had been $3 million. It is for this next year, $2,750,000.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioners or Robin? No? Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the resolution to certify the 2020 property tax levies for the general fund, roads, Medic 1, and conservation futures to be collected in 2021 and authorize a road levy shift in the amount of $2,750,000 and a road diversion to the current expense fund of $1,500,000.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution for property tax levy certification. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I appreciate the county manager spelling that out. It's important to me that we, it's not something that we could just wipe away, but it's been built into the last few years' budget. But I'm glad that the board has made a commitment to reducing this, and it's going to be almost 10% this year, and then if we continue along that path, it would be an increasing percentage to where we can, as one of the citizens said earlier today, do a better job of living within our means while maintaining our road system and our financial health overall. So I'm, obviously it's not perfect, but it's a good step in the right direction for the board. So I'm supporting this.
Well, if my memory serves correctly, this is what you, Commissioner Menser, had brought to the board, was our reducing our dependence on these interloan shifts.
I appreciate you guys working with me on that.
So thank you. Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Robin. Thank you. 4D, and remember, you said you invited anybody that wants to understand this. You will have a meeting with them.
Yep, I'd be happy to talk to anyone about any of these topics.
Okay. Thank you. 4D, setting a public hearing for telecommunications franchise agreement with New Singular Wireless. And we have Patty Rosetto. Hi, Patty.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Patty Rosetto with the Commissioner's Office. New Singular Wireless, PC, AT&T, is seeking a franchise agreement to operate telecommunications services in the county right-of-way. Thurston County offices and departments have reviewed the application and deemed it to be complete. This action will set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. At the hearing, there will be an opportunity for public comment on the application. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions for Patty on this issue?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, is there a motion?
I move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to receive comments on the proposed telecommunications franchise application from New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, also known as AT&T.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for December 15th for this telecommunications franchise agreement. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Agenda item number 5 is an amendment to the Chandler Court lease with DM Venture Evergreen. And we have Christopher Helmer, project manager. Is Christopher here?
Chris is not here.
And see, Chris, I can present this wearing my Central Services Director hat. As you know, Commissioners, we have been preparing a building on Chandler Court to be able to hold jury trials and for other uses of both Superior and District Court in response to the COVID pandemic, because the space that we have here on the courthouse campus does not lend itself to proper social distancing for large trials. Even though we're delaying trials, this building will be used, and we did extensive renovation to the building to make it safe and suitable for court proceedings. And we did that through a contract with the landlord. So this amendment to the contract addresses the final punch list items, if you will, all of the last minute change requests to ensure that the building has everything that the courts, corrections, defense, and the prosecutor needs to be able to conduct these court proceedings. So we are asking that you approve the increase in the contract. We're paying it with coronavirus relief funds, CRF money, and it will be a valuable space to allow us to provide access to justice.
Thank you for that. Any questions of Robin on this issue?
No, sir.
Okay, is there a motion then?
Move to approve the contract amendment between Thurston County and DM Venture Evergreen LLC for $136,223.16 for a combined total of $825,931.15.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment to Chandler Court lease. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you for pinch hitting there, Robin.
Thank you, Commissioner. With your permission, I'm going to exit this meeting.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6 is PHSS, Veteran Assistance Program, Emergency Amendment. We have Mark Moffett here, Community Program Manager. Hello, Mark.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Mark Moffett, Social Services Program Manager for Public Health and Social Services. Before you today is recommendations from your Veterans Advisory Board to create a emergency amendment to our policy for the Veterans Assistance Program. This amendment will do 5 things. First one, it'll initiate when the county is in a emergency status. So what we're in now. It will also remove the current restriction or the current 2-time limit for veterans to use the fund. So someone who's used it twice in the past can now use it again during a crisis situation. It'll also increase the limit for a single veteran. The current limit is $1,000. It'll raise it to $1,500. For a family, it goes from $2,000 to $3,000. It'll also include internet support. As we know right now, internet is very important, trying to work remotely and also go to school. So this will help facilitate that for our veterans and family. And the last thing it does is to promote the Lacey Veterans Hub for other services for our veterans, to include mental health, job or employment, and also VA services.
Is that it, Mark?
That's it, sir.
Okay. Any questions or comments from Mark?
The only thing I might comment on that we had an in-depth discussion in the last few meetings on this particular topic, including this morning. So thank you, Mark, for what you're doing.
You bet. Thank you.
Yeah, we went through them this morning, and it's a great set of recommendations. Thank the Advisory Council for me, and happy to support this.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
As I said this morning, I'll say it again now in this formal meeting. I truly appreciate all that you do, Mark, for our veterans. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, sir.
Is there a motion, or do we ever do that?
No, I've got a motion.
Yeah.
I will move to approve an emergency amendment to the Veterans Assistance Program policies and procedures to support veterans and their families in need of financial assistance during a declared emergency.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Veterans Assistance Program Emergency Amendment. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
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 That motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
6B, Department of Social Health as State Department of Social and Health Services County Program Agreement, respite contract. We have Margaret Bagley. There's Margaret. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Margaret.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Margaret Bagley with Thurston County Public Health and Social Services. I manage the Specialized Recreation Program, which is a unique program in our community designed for adults with developmental disabilities. I'm here to request the authorization of our department director's signature for a contract between Thurston County and the Department of Social and Health Services for a respite contract. The respite contract provides funding for clients to participate in our programs while providing much needed respite for family care providers, which are oftentimes full-time care providers for our clients. So our contract spans from September of 2020 to June 30th of 2021. We are eager to start programs back up in the new year, but right now we are on pause. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Margaret or comments?
No.
Nope. All right, is there a motion?
Yes. I move to approve the contract with Washington State Department of Social and Health Services for short-term intermittent respite care for the term of September 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to execute the contract and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the DSHS respite care contract. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Margaret, very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, we move to Public Works, and there's a master interlocal agreements for the Rural Community Support Program. And we have Matt Unzelman. Should be joining us momentarily. Pop, there he is.
Sorry for the delay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Matt Unzelman, Thurston County Traffic Engineering and Operations Manager. Public Works is requesting that the Board of County Commissioners execute 3 interlocal agreements with the town of BoCC, as well as the cities of Rainier and Tenino. This agreement will replace the the ILA, which was originally signed in 2011 with the town of BoCC, and then the ILAs with the city of Rainier and Tenino, which were signed in 2014, which recently expired. The first part of the interlocal agreement addresses some of the maintenance services that Public Works provides to these smaller agencies from time to time, such as striping or putting plastics on the roadway or some maybe some small amounts of paving. The second part of this ILA addresses the Rural Community Support Program funding. These small agencies do not have the capacity or the certifications to administer federal funding. So what Thurston County Public Works does is we use that funding on some of our bigger federal aid projects because we do a lot of federal funded projects and we do have the ability to administer them. And in turn, a couple of weeks ago, you guys, the commissioners approved a Board of County Commissioner. Man, you got me thrown off there. You approved an ILA with PRPC to administer that funding. And so this interlocal agreement is really something Public Works specifically can do to help out the smaller agencies in Thurston County.
Do you guys have, commissioners have any questions for Matt on this?
No, he did a fine job explaining what we're doing.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve 3 master interlocal agreements with the town of Yokota, city of Rainier, and city of Tenino for transportation services and administration of rural community support program funds.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the master interlocal agreements for the Rural Community Support Program. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. And 7B is setting a public hearing to consider amending the speed limits. Matt, go ahead.
Once again, Matt Unzelman, Thurston County Public Works. We're requesting the county commissioners to set a public hearing for December 15th to consider setting or altering speed limits on 6 different roadways in Thurston County. We go through 6 roads, our 56th Avenue. from Puget Beach Road to Hill Street from an unposted 50 miles an hour to a 40 mile per hour speed limit. The second roadway is 153rd from Vale Road to Lawrence Lake Road from a posted 50 miles an hour to 45 miles per hour. The third roadway is 216th from Old Highway 99 to Hobson Road from an unposted 50 to a 35 mile per hour. The fourth roadway is Munson Court from Munson Drive to Dead End from an unposted 50 to a 25 mile per hour speed limit. This roadway is Munson Drive from Cedar Flats Road to the Dead End from an unposted 50 to 25 miles per hour. And the sixth is Woodard Bay Road Southeast from Boston Harbor Road Northeast to Levy Road Northeast from an unposted 50 miles per hour to 50 miles per hour. I know I went through those really quickly, and I promise to go into further detail at the public hearing. I would like to say that letters have been sent out to property owners as part of the speed limit process. All comments received to date have been generally in favor of the proposed speed limit revisions. Staff has completed speed studies on these roadways and confirmed that these speed revisions are in conformance with resolution 12083 adopted by the Board of County Commissioners in November of 1999. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments, commissioners?
No, Matt's done a good job explaining it for everybody. Thank you.
Do you have any comments or questions, Ty? I'm sorry.
Just a funny comment. My kids have been watching the television show Parks and Recreation, and we've been having so many public hearings that I tell them I'm having a public hearing, and they're always having public hearings on that show, and they're always asking me, are your public hearings like the ones on Parks and Recreation? And now I can say yes, because they always have ones about speed limits and angry citizens. So I'll be able to say yes, exactly like that. Except Matt's telling us that everybody's in favor of it.
That is funny. So Matt, this public hearing set for December 15th. Is it on the? It's on the website. Is citizens can look in and see what's pending and read all about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm ready for a motion.
I'm going to make a motion to set a public hearing for December 15th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard in room 280, building 1 of the county courthouse, 2000 Lake Ridge Drive, Southwest, Olympia, Washington, to formally receive testimony and consider amending the speed limit on various county roads.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for December 15th regarding the speed limit schedule for various county roads. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.
7C is setting a public hearing to update Thurston County Code regarding water and sewer rates. Zainab Najati, go ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Zainab Najati, Water Resources Technical Services Manager. I'm here today to request that the board set a public hearing for December 15th to hear proposed changes to Thurston County Code, Section 15.12. This section of County Code sets water and sewer rates for the county and provides for annual adjustments to the rates, charges, and fees for the county's utilities. The current code provides rates for 2019 and 2020 and therefore must be updated for the county to continue to collect water and sewer rates and charges. In order to provide some relief to customers due to the impact of COVID-19, the code update as proposed would keep 2021 monthly base rate and consumption charges at the same rate as 2020. Equivalent service extension charges and additional capacity charges have been adjusted consistent with County Code Section 15.12.80, which states these charges shall be annually adjusted by the Construction Cost Index published by Engineering News and Record, which for 2020 represents a 1.7% increase. Adjustment to the rates, charges, and fees for the county's water and sewer utilities are consistent with the county's strategic plan and is in alignment with Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative 14 to strengthen sound financial management practices.
Any questions, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion?
No. Oh, wait.
What?
I didn't know if Ty said something. Could I make a question, sir?
Sure, you can make a question.
Okay. Have parties that are going to be affected, have they been notified?
So we have had discussions with the utility advisory committees for Tamashan and Boston Harbor.
And then they in turn notify those affected? I'm just trying to figure out the notification process.
So we have not directly communicated with the customers the changes that are being implemented. In general, most customers are not going to see any impacts because we would be continuing the rates from 2020 into 2021. The only people at this point who would see an impact as compared to current rates would be any new developers. And I can go into kind of some numbers if you'd like me to.
No, you don't need to do that. I'm just wondering about, we're going to remain static on most of them, but something's going up 1.5%, like a cost of living adjustment that's built in. Is that right?
Yes, it is the additional capacity charges and the equivalent service extension charges, and those are charged to new developers.
Good enough. Thank you very much.
Good questions. Commissioner Mentor, any questions or comments?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, thank you. I'm ready.
So I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 15th, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard. Thurston County Courthouse, room 280, building 1, 2000 Lakers Drive Southwest, Olympia, Washington, to accept and consider public comments on proposed changes to Thurston County Code Chapter 15.12, water and sewer rates.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing to update Thurston County Code, water and sewer rates. Any further discussion? No,
sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. And thank you very much. It takes us to agenda item number 8, where the commissioners report back on their board work sessions and assigned committee meetings. I'll start with you, Commissioner Menser.
Thank you. We didn't have a board meeting last week, so over the last couple of weeks, the highlights of things I attended included the League of Women Voters Water Forum, which included our own Art Starry and Kevin Hansen giving a presentation very similar to what they gave the board previously, but there were some good questions and feedback on that, and I think it was very well received by the public. Attended the South Sound Military Communities Partnership. Commissioner Hutchings gave an address there, as well as Danny Heck and some of the new leadership at JBLM, and that's always informative. Attended a couple pieces of the WASAC conference. I couldn't attend all of it, but I was able to attend the Timber County's caucus meeting and the General Assembly meeting, saying goodbye to some outgoing commissioners and leadership, and hello to some incoming leadership for the Washington State Association of Counties. Attended a special meeting of the Chehalis Basin Partnership, where we formally voted and approved the watershed plan that this board approved before that, but the partnership overall will send that on to Ecology for approval, meeting our deadline under the Stream Flow Restoration Act. So that was kind of exciting. One very interesting day I spent was with Intercity Transit. The authority, which is the governing board of Intercity Transit, includes 3 citizens who have full voting status. And so they're very important positions. There's term limits, and people tend to take those positions and stay until they're term limited off. And so our chair is being term limited off this December. And so we spent the whole day interviewing applicants to replace that person, and we had a recommendation that we will forward to the authority next week. I attended a work session with the Department of Commerce, who was asking for elected officials to sit in on a work session. They're trying to create a model ordinance that would help jurisdictions like ours put community behavioral health facilities in their community, because the governor has expressed a preference for creating a network of community-based behavioral health facilities. But these often face zoning and siting challenges. And so we were brainstorming about how we would be able to overcome those challenges and sort of realize that vision for a community-based network of facilities. Attended the steady meeting, South Thurston Economic Development Initiative, as I do usually, and then the Salmon Recovery Council meeting. last week, which takes all day Thursday and was a very good session. That's my report.
Commissioner Edwards?
Well, some of those same meetings, I guess. Fire commissioners, steady, Nisqually River Council, and many of the WASAC Zoom meetings that I attended without attending, which I don't think is quite as productive, but it's a way to keep the business running. So that was my week. Thank you.
I also attended the virtual WASAC, Association of Counties Leadership Conference, for a couple of days. The Regional Housing Council is comprised of cities in the county and the county working on homelessness issues, and to include the RV parking. Lieutenant Steady, that's the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative. The 3 cities and county meeting, that's Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater mayors and staff, and the county meeting, talking about the issues that are important to each of us, but also where they intersect with each other and how we can support each other. The Pac Mountain Workforce Consortium met, and I just finished about an hour and a half ago the final canvassing board, 3 canvassing board meetings where the election for this year has been certified and done. And then yesterday was the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization meeting. Yesterday? Yes. And so that was that. Very busy. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot. So with that, I turn to County Manager Romero Chavez to preview our week.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for this upcoming week. It's going to be a short week. Is where the appointments where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Soon after this, the Board of County Commissioners meeting is over. You have a public hearing where you'll be receiving public testimony related to the final regulations on development in floodplains. And at 5:30, you have a public hearing related to items associated with the comprehensive plan docket. Wednesday, November 25th, 9:30, you have a briefing related to the regional agriculture development update. At 11 tomorrow, November 25th, you have a briefing related to the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan. Thursday, November 26th, county offices are closed in observance to the Thanksgiving holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, as well as be safe and be conscientious. And Friday, November 27th, also the county offices are closed in observance of the day after the Thanksgiving holiday. Moving on to Monday, November 30th, at noon, you have your Washington State Association of Counties virtual assembly. And you will be convening back here on Tuesday, December 11th. At 9 in the morning, you will have your agenda setting. At 2 in the afternoon, you have your regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. 3 in the afternoon, you have 3 public hearings. One is related to the 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, followed by the Interim Emergency Housing Ordinance. Then is the telecommunications franchise application, Usbound Broadcast LLC. And at 5:30, you have a public hearing related to the comprehensive plan docket, item CP11, which is related to the recycled asphalt policy. That's all I have for you.
All right, thank you. I'm asking the board members, anything for the good of the order?
No, sir.
Okay, I would just ask or tell everybody, please have a wonderful, happy, memorable, and healthy Thanksgiving, and be grateful for the things that we do have, even this this age that we're living in currently. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.
Yep. And please join the next Zoom meeting for the public hearing.